Hey everybody, this is Joe from the Middle Ground Mike. We got the Toxic Masculinity podcast coming up real soon, and with some of the way I've got some things structured coming up, we're going to be able to get multiple content every day. Maybe not every day of the week, but several times a week now. Some things have been spotty and more short sometimes than anything, but we're gonna have a lot more content. We'll be able to divide up into shorts. Hey, check out the new studio back here. Not really a studio, but we made some changes so that way it's not like a virtual one. It looks a little bit more professional, blah blah blah. But I kind of want to touch on a couple of just the basic things of toxic masculinity. When I think of that and I think of what people say about it, I think of someone like Andrew Tate. To me, Andrew Tate he's the opposite of an extreme feminist, if you want to call it that. He's the equal and opposite reaction, however how you want to phrase that. I don't agree with a lot of what he says. In a lot of it, I would say is more of the manner in which he says it. I think a lot of things like, the traditional male roles of masculinity, right? If it, even though women didn't have as many rights, a lot of times, certain things, and even to this day, right? Where one partner stays home or however you want to do it, should be voluntary. It should be something that everybody agrees on and wants to do together. So that's just something for me. What's my definition of being a man? Traditional man is, hey, the idea of 9 to 5, da, da, but we know people worked all random shifts, right? Coming home and, life was a lot simpler. It's just kids, wife, family, lawn, maybe do your weekly bowling thing or whatever you do, and then in today's modern age, it's have a job, be dad, be husband, go to all the games, don't miss nothing, da da da. People say men should talk about their feelings today. I know that's but you know what? And this is not a knock towards anybody, but I know a lot of people who are compassionate people, but you can watch your body language change when a man becomes emotional. It's not the same. People can say it's the same, but it's not. Even in this day and age, if a man expresses emotion, he's going to get looked down on. That's that's just how it is, right? And I'm not saying that it's okay because it's not, right? In my time, with my wife, it's something that I still struggle with to this day. I'm the type where if something's bothering me, I'll sleep on it. You can take a nap, whatever, and then I'll wake up, and sometimes it's a day or two before I've processed it enough to kind of really talk to her about it. And it's not a knock on my wife. My wife is a great woman, and she takes care of our kids, and I help too. But she really holds the family down, right? Everybody has that. Like some households it's the dad, some households it's the wife. Uh, but we both work. I work a full time job. We're a lot of hours, and I'm on my phone all the time, all hours of the day, which is okay. I've been in the business 25 years or so, whatever it's been. It's been a long time, right? But it just kind of clicked one day, and I just stayed with it. Make good money. Um, but it's I don't think that it's wrong if in terms of masculinity, if someone stays home and takes care of the kids, and the modern version of being a man to me now in terms of physical labor, way harder back in the 50s and all that, way harder, no doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Those men, at least to me, and like shout out to my dad, way tougher than I could probably ever dream of being. My dad and my grandfather had way more determination to get something done, and they pushed themselves to a whole lot more that I don't know if I would be able to. And I think like a musician, rapper, whatever you want to call it. His name's Dax. He's got a song that he called "To Be a Man." He does a remix with Darius Rucker and then another one with some other folks. I think it's very accurate because it does paint the traditional role, but it also puts like some modern context to it, right? And I think to a degree, it's very accurate. For the most part, it's accurate. And it's hard. Nobody wants to talk about it. They just want to go, a lot of things like the male privilege, this, that, and the other thing. And I can see where people are coming from with that. But I don't think it's as prevalent today as it used to be. Um, and I feel like the average man, I don't know, that people go left behind. The traditional role of that man is looked down upon, even when it's something that works for that family at that time, which makes no sense. We're also worried about what other people are doing. It's like, as long as that man's not abusing his family, he's taking care of them. And I'm not, people argue, right? So I wouldn't call that like a thing, but just taking care of his family, doing the right thing. If things like that are going on and nothing else crazy, mind your own freaking business, dude. It's not your place. It just really is not your place. No, like no matter how you view it, it's not your place. Because you know what? Let's say you're stranded one day and that person's driving down the road and you've been in a terrible car accident or you're walking, you fell, rolled your ankle, broke your leg. I highly doubt you're going to care what that man's traditional role is if he's helping you. If he's helping you and you're hurt, does it matter? No, just like if it was a woman, it wouldn't matter. So why don't we start treating everybody and ourselves like we're decent human beings, and maybe we'll find that we get a lot more of that. You know, we will get a lot more positive out of people and less infighting and less, hopefully it'd be nice to less crime, right? You know, I think a lot of Americans are great people, just great people, but we got to learn to mind our own business if it ain't up to us. That's just me. You know, um, it's hard to say, when it comes to masculinity, like what does it mean? I know a lot of people have their opinions about what it is, but to me, it's very difficult because being a provider to me, yeah, traditionally is a man and things like that, right? But a lot of those things, those lines are blurred these days, and some people don't agree with it. Some people do. There's a lot of things that some women in the work, well, women, not some, but women in the workforce, women in politics, when you look at it and some things they say and they're doing, they're probably better than a male counterpart would be in that spot for that particular thing, right? And that's okay. Change is okay, even 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, there was, in Sparta, places like that, wasn't as open as but women they were very influential. So this is not a new thing. It's just a new thing to our society and how we think. Um, it's just got to not be as much of a thing, to me, masculinity it's a good thing, and I think masculinity is regulated when a dad is in the home, a male figure is around the children, because it's up to him to teach, especially if he has a son, right? It's up to him to teach him to regulate things, right? That's where dad steps in, right? There's just certain things, just like a woman, right? There's certain things that a woman's going to look at that she's going to understand. You may know what it is as a man, right? And she may know what it is on her end, but there's just certain things that a woman's going to be able to identify with a woman, or, their daughter with the mother, son with the father. That's just how it is, right? I mean, it's just sometimes, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I know some people do, but it's view it that way, but it's not a bad thing. And that's okay. And that is okay that it's not a bad thing. Like, just move on. We're all great people to me. I think, I even think some of the people that I'm like, oh my God. I think most people are very good people at heart. Just certain things make them react a different way that we're all going, what the freaking heck is wrong with you? But, kind of getting back to toxic masculinity thing, one of the questions that, I kind of took in some notes, what's the difference between a man and a boy? A man is somebody who takes care of the responsibility, tries, even if he's not successful, he tries. Always try to take care of your responsibilities. And even if you fail, show your family, show your friends, show whoever that you can get back up and punch life in the mouth and take it back. Don't cower down to it. Like, why? You gonna tuck your tail between your legs and go home? Stop doing that. Whether you're a man or a woman, like, stand up, do the right thing. That's a man. To me, a boy is someone who hasn't reached that point in life. They're immature. They make stupid comments. Listen, we all do. All men do up until they're probably dead. But I'm talking more, just as like in general, right? It's somebody that doesn't completely understand their responsibilities in life, even if they are a father. Because, I mean, there's some people that it just doesn't dawn on them. I don't know why. Like, I couldn't imagine a day without my sons. I wake up every day and I look forward to seeing Henry and Joel. Like, there's nothing more that I love than seeing my kids. And they're great. And when Henry looks at me and says, Dada, man, it just makes my day better. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I don't know why that, he views me in that dad role, right? It's not a bad thing. Let's respect each other. It's all about respect. And to me, that's the difference. The qualities of a good man. To me, it's just the same as, versus man versus boy. You do the right thing. You take care of your family if you have one. You take care of just business in general. Yes, there's business men take care of. There's business women take care of. Even if it's paying the bills, right? That's a good woman if she pays her bills. Well, if you're a man, you do the things you do. That makes you a good man. That's totally fine, people. That doesn't make things like, it doesn't make things toxic. To me, a lot of the times when you're viewing things as like a toxic masculinity, um, it's more of that person is toxic more so than their gender or their sex, whatever you want to call it. I'm not woke, by the way, but you can live your life how you want. Like, I know there's a lot of anti woke people that want to, but live how you want. Just leave me out of it. I don't care what you do. It's your business. But just getting back to the toxic thing, I think a lot of times like somebody who's a toxic masculine, however you want to put it, the person's just generally toxic in general. It doesn't matter what their gender is. If you're just a toxic person, you're a toxic person, regardless of the gender. Let's all learn to love and respect and treat one another better. I think we're capable of it, and I think that over time we will. The roles are changing in America. It is changing. I hate to break it to everybody, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, and um, you know, the life we grow up in, the life our kids grow up in, the way I grew up and how I view the world is not going to be the same way my kids do. No matter, I can imprint my values on them every single day of the week, but their world's going to be different. Why? Because it is different. Perception is reality, and that's okay. That perception is reality. And then my kids, when they have kids, their kids' world's going to be far different than theirs. It's they may view an apple completely differently than how their kids will. It may be this big bad thing or something, right? It changes. The world changes, and I think that every person, right? You kind of live in your own little world to the day you die. Even if you're aware of everything else, there's just we call it, to me, I think a better way to put it is we call it our comfort zone. And then that's the world that we live in. We just got to do a better job, and take care of people. I say that all the time. Take care of people. Let's treat one another better. Um, so let me know what you guys think about that. Like I said, we're gonna be talking with my good friend Michelle here pretty soon. And it's gonna be a good podcast. She's a very smart person, very smart young. She's got two kids and a husband. I've known her for a long time. I mean, gosh, I'm an old man now. Um, and she's just even when we worked at, just a genuine person. Hard to find those these days. So to me that's very important when we talk about something like this. But let me know what you guys think. And we'll look forward to you guys checking out the podcast, and we'll go from there.